less than $1 a day. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain temporarily, it helps reduce or eliminate pain. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF, 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Here's the Wall Street Business Report.
Microsoft and Meta Platforms drove Wall Street higher after delivering profits for the start of the year that were even bigger than analysts expected. The S&P 500 rose 0.6% and was back within 8.8% of its record set earlier this year. The Dow Jones Industrial Average adding 0.2% and the Nasdaq Composite jumped 1.5%. Treasury yields swiveled in the bond market following some mixed reports on the economy. Yields initially sank after a report showed more U.S. workers applied for unemployment benefits last week than had been expected. The Dow up 83 points to close at 40,752. The Nasdaq gained 264 to 17,710. The S&P 500 added 35 points to 5604. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm John Scott.
News and analysis at townhall.com.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Cloudy with a slight chance of some overnight rain. Staying warm, the low temperature is 65. Tomorrow, more clouds than sunshine. A 20% chance we get some late afternoon storm activity. Scattered showers on Saturday in the afternoon and our evening hours. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in. Big Thursday night edition of Sports Talk Media Network, coming to you from the capital city, Columbia, SC. Glad to have you with us. Phil Kornblut and the plumber, Josh Cohen. Chris Bergen is off. He's off until, when does he come back? A week from Monday. I think he comes back from vacation. So we're going to have to fly pretty much a solo here, see if we can get through it over the next week or so. Our phone number, if you want to join us here early on, maybe early and late depending on what happens, but early on, 888-898-2525. South Carolina Education Lottery. Lucky number to reach us here on Sports Talk. 888-898. Sometimes I say it too fast for some of you older people. 888-898-2525. Just remember 888. It's easy enough. And then two more 8s around a 9. It's pretty simple. And then Rick Sanford, 2525. How can you not forget that number?
Do you have to put an area code? You didn't used to have to, right?
I think for this number you do.
Okay.
Because we're worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide.
We're worldwide. We're universal wide. 888-898-2525. And the text line number brought to you by, of course, our good friend Larry Lucas at Larry Lucas Insurance here in Columbia. That phone number is 803-900, 803-900-4847. 803-900-4847. We'll read some messages. We'll take some phone calls here early on if you want to join us. A lot of news to update and some great stuff coming your way tonight, including First interview with the executive director of the South Carolina High School League since he was at the State House yesterday. I think somewhat being grilled by legislators. I think somewhat being rudely grilled by some legislators. He won't react to that kind of stuff. He'll talk X's and O's. Dr. Jerome Singleton will be here at 6:35. This stuff with the high school league has become a ongoing issue with some people in the State House attempting to do away with the current administration, the current setup of a high school league and create an entirely new association with people, I think, picked by legislators. I'm not sure anybody's going to like that idea. Are they going to pick officials? Are they going to run the officials, that part of the high school league operation? Are they going to run games? Are they going to operate championships? How are they going to do this? So I thought it would be informative to hear from Dr. Singleton and get his thoughts on exactly what the high school league is. I think there's maybe I'm the one that's wrong, but I think there's a misconception by a lot of people about exactly what the high school league is and what it does. So my goal tonight is to try to answer those questions and clarify that and kind of get his thoughts on why this is happening and where it might go. So that's coming up at 6:30. And then we're going to hear from Paul Mainieri, USC baseball coach. Gamecocks preparing to take on the Florida Gators this weekend. Saturday looks very iffy weather-wise at this point with a 4 o'clock start. They may adjust that. They may move it up or they may try and wait it out. I don't know. But the weather looks kind of iffy. Tomorrow night I think's okay. I think Sunday's okay. So Florida Gators are coming to town. They got off to a rocky start this year, but they've picked it up. And, of course, they've got their typical solid pitching. South Carolina will not have Ethan Petrie this weekend. It's really sort of weekend by weekend with him, with his shoulder. Nathan Hall was at practice today. He did have a brace on his left ankle. He's dealing with an Achilles tendon and a heel issue. And he just can't run, according to Paul Mainieri. Just can't, if he hits the ball, he can't flat out turn it on and run without aggravating that heel right now. So we'll hear from the Gamecock baseball coach who is trying to hold things together through the rest of this season with 10 games to go. And Mike Morgan ordinarily is with us at 7:05, and I have not confirmed with Mike his appearance tonight. We'll wait and see on that. That's an iffy. You know, he's sort of like Ethan Petrie. He's sort of iffy for us tonight. South Carolina gets another football commitment this afternoon. Nolan Hay, big offensive lineman from Incarnate Word out in Texas. Before that, he played at Houston Christian, Houston Baptist. That school might have changed names. I think it was Houston Baptist, but then I've seen it referred to as Houston Christian. His pictures from there have HBC on there, Houston Baptist. I think that's what that is. Anyway, he played there, and he played at Incarnate Word. He's played a lot. He's played a lot of snaps. He's coming in to compete at center for South Carolina. And so we'll talk more about that in recruiting. South Carolina handed out a lot more offers over the last 24 hours. We'll go over that with you. Other recruiting notes as well, and some news notes coming up. Also, again, that phone number is 888-898-2525 if you'd like to chime in. South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number for you right here on Sports Talk. A few of the other key items to talk about today as we look ahead to things that are going on, things that are going to be happening over the weekend. But as far as some of the top stories today, see where Steve Fink from South Carolina was in Atlanta today. He tweeted out a picture from the Mercedes-Benz Stadium where South Carolina will open the football season on August 31st against Virginia Tech. So they go there to get an advanced look so they can figure out, this is going to be your locker room, this is going to be your path for post-game interviews, and this is how you're going to handle certain things. So I bring that up only to say that the itch for the start of the next football season is growing stronger. It's growing stronger by the day. High schools began spring football practice today. It is May Day, May 1st, so high schools around South Carolina have begun their spring football practices. I'm glad we're a state that offers spring football practices. Some states don't do spring football practices. Here in South Carolina, we still do. Saw a tweet from the NFL that former Gamecock star Mullins native Xavier Legette, that's how he pronounces it now, Legette, is going to be at the Kentucky Derby. Of course, you know he's big with the horses as far as riding them, old country boy. He loves riding his horses, and they are going to be following his adventures, as they put it, on the NFL social media outlets. So if you want to keep up with Xavier Legette and his times at the Kentucky Derby, which is this weekend, you can do so via the NFL. The looming fight here between Arkansas's Edge Collective and transfer quarterback Madden Iamaleava may have a bigger long-term impact on college football than what his brother did, Nico, when he transferred from Tennessee to UCLA. This according to Andy Staples, writing today about this story, because Arkansas is putting up a fight. They want money back, and they want liquidated damages. And so they're going after the money that was paid to this young man who reneged on the contract with the school or whatever he signed, and they want their pound of flesh here since he turned and left and went to UCLA to join his brother. The Arkansas collective that made the deal, when he agreed to sign with Arkansas out of high school, if they decide to sue for the money it claims he owes, then it will provide a very public window into the process, Staples writes. And the rest of college football will be watching. A win at trial would embolden other collectives or schools after the House settlement clears to try to force players who leave to pay contractually obligated buyouts. It also likely would make players think twice about entering the portal, John, that's my word, if they could be on the hook for significant money. Arkansas Edge is seeking about $200,000 from Iamaleava Jr., which is half the remaining amount of the deal. He originally signed $500,000 that has yet to be paid to him. So they gave him $500,000? A high school kid. Wow. That's the thing about this whole situation. I'm trying to get my head around it. Okay, I am. You got to give me some credit, right? I mean, a year ago, I was spitting fire. This is no good. This is the devil. This is the end of the world. Okay, I've come around. I see that it doesn't have to be the devil. It doesn't have to be the end of the world. All can survive and thrive and be happy about this. But, I mean, you got to get your spending under control here. You cannot let market forces, and here I am talking like I'm a business major, from the Darla Moore School of Business, international business. I can't even spell international business. But, I mean, the spending frenzy and you're throwing bad money out there, really. I mean, Madden Iamaleava, however you pronounce his last name, I mean, he was a high school quarterback. Okay, I don't know what he was so-called ranked coming out of high school, but he ain't worth $500,000. No high school kid is worth that kind of money. You're killing yourself, colleges, in this bidding war that you are creating among yourselves and certain players. And you're letting agents also string you along by the you-know-what. I don't know how it's like the old days of Major League Baseball free agency when that first started happening, and even to today, owners try to outbid owners. But that's owners' money. They're spending their own money. You're spending the fans' money. You're spending the money that you're getting from collectives and then eventually from the settlement if it ever happens. But right now you're spending the fans' money. You don't have settlement money. The 20.5 is not in the bank yet, and it might not be in the bank. You're spending mom and pop's money. And now some of your mom and pops have got a lot of money and they're willing to give it to you. But some of you out there, maybe not necessarily around here. I mean, I think for the most part, South Carolina and Clemson, as far as I can tell, have been relatively reasonable with their dealings. We haven't seen any stories of outlandish spending that we know of. You know, what do we hear? 1.8 for Lenore Sellers, and I think Klubnik's getting 1 point something. Dylan Stewart's probably getting in the same neighborhood of that. Probably Peter Woods at Clemson when you think about some of these guys that are going to be the higher paid one based on production. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to argue in today's market then if you're going to be spending money, Lenore Sellers deserves his, Stewart deserves his, Peter Woods deserves his, Klubnik deserves his, and others. So it's the spending, it's the wild spending on these high school guys, many of whom aren't worth it, won't be worth it, and are going to be in the portal, John, in 6 months. So you need to get that under control, people. All right, let's go to the phones very quickly. We're going to clear the docket at 6:35 for Dr. Jerome Singleton. But now let's hit the phones here very quickly. No, let's go to the break. You want to go to the break first? We'll go to the break, and then we'll come back to the phones. Phone number 888-898-2525. This will give me a chance to remind you about Jimmy Smith in Pawleys Island at James Smith Real Estate, 843-237-4246, 843-237-4246 for your perfect beach getaway. Check them out. Give them a call online at PawleysVacationRentals.com. Let Jimmy take care of your vacation needs at the beach. 843-237-4246. Be right back.
When I grew up, I want to be a nurse. I want to be an engineer. I want to be a teacher.
There's never been a better time to start making their dreams come true. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 college savings plan, makes it easy to save for their future education. Contributions are tax deductible, earnings are tax free, and you can start saving right now with any amount. Go to futurescholar.com today to discover the smart, easy way to save for college. That's futurescholar.com.
If you're looking to grow your business, Sports Talk is here to help. Whether you're a small business owner or part of a large company in the Palmetto State, we want to hear about what you do. Sports Talk has a proven track record of delivering real results to our partners, and advertising with us is probably more affordable than you think. Our network of affiliates gives us the flexibility to work with budgets of all sizes, and our statewide coverage means that whether you're in Greenville, Orangeburg, Chesterfield, Charleston, Woodruff, or anywhere in between, your future customers are listening to Sports Talk every night. Radio remains one of the most effective ways to reach potential customers, and with our extensive reach across South Carolina, your message will be heard. Every business has a story, and we're here to help share yours. Let's find success together. Email us at sportstalkmedianetwork@gmail.com or visit sportstalksc.com to learn more about how we can help grow your business.
Hey, LeBron. Hope you enjoy vacation, LeBron. Love it. The Slackers. Yep, vacation time for the L.A. Slackers. Meantime, the real basketball teams in the NBA, we're moving forward. I'm pulling for the Pistons tonight. Well, I want that series to go 7. I want y'all to bludgeon one another. Maybe a fight, maybe some twisted ankles.
So that we can come hurt you.
Well, no, so you'll be weakened and tired and worn out, and we'll be fully rested and ready to go. So whether I don't care if it's work. I mean, I think America wants to see the Celtics and the Knicks because that's just a traditional rivalry, East Coast, two cities that are real rivals of one another. Nobody cares about Detroit. Detroit's not a rival to anybody except maybe Saskatchewan. But yeah, I want to see that series go 7 so y'all wear each other out and
They're
we'll
probably
be fully
rivals
rested.
with Dutch Fork High School, or not Dutch Fork. Detroit High School. They probably played Detroit High School. That's who they practice against because they suck.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Plumber.
They suck. Typically. They're great this year.
Who, Detroit? The Pistons?
Yes.
Yeah, they've turned it around.
Yeah.
And don't use that kind of language on my show, please. Let's go to the phones. 888-898-2525 is the phone number. And we are going to go, I got to open this up. We're going to go first to Rocky in Greenville. Hello, Rocky. Welcome in. How are you?
Good evening, Phil. How you doing?
Good, man.
I'm actually calling about the closing of Limestone College, West Limestone University, I guess.
Yeah.
And as someone I know in your early days, I mean, and you still do comb the roads to go to all the small colleges in the state of South Carolina.
Yeah.
That you have done. And I'm going more back to my days in the late 70s and the early 80s of small college basketball. And Limestone was very good during that particular time. Had the pleasure to play against those guys a lot of times. They had some really good players, small college basketball. But
Where'd you play?
I hate that they're closing.
Where'd you play?
I played 2 years at Gardner Webb, 79 to 81, and then I played 2 years at Winthrop. And I swear I graduated from
Very
1984
good. Very good.
At Winthrop. And so I got to play against Limestone and their teams, really good. But back when small college basketball in the state field was really good.
Yes, it was.
We had our own NAIA. We had our own national championship tournament, which I did attend one time as a player at Gardner Webb. But nonetheless, I hate that Limestone, and I only knew him as a basketball, from a sport that back then, but, just small college basketball, and now they're all D1 or D3. There's no in between. And, but I hate that the institution is closing.
I think we all do. I think it's sad that it's come to this for a school that's been around 140 years. That's so important to a city like Gaffney. I think it's sad. Obviously economic times, and it's a private school, so it depends on contributions and funds, from people giving out of their own back pockets. And I guess they, did they grow too much? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know the history of all that. I don't know that you can point to any one thing, whether it's anything related to athletics or management or the academic side, or maybe the enrollment was down. I don't know. It's just, you hate to, Limestone has just been a part of our state for all these years. You hate to see, a Limestone or an Erskine or any of those, Wofford, Presbyterian. You hate to see any of those go by the boards.
Well, you just mentioned Erskine, and that's what I was going to say. And I don't know if you've seen this, but Erskine is offering Limestone students a certain portion of money, at least I read this, for them to come to Erskine, very similar size school, small classrooms, and so on, and they're offering scholarships to Limestone students.
I did not know that.
Seen that or not.
I did not know that.
Erskine, look up Erskine. They're offering scholarships to Limestone students.
I will look that up. And, of course, all those athletes at Limestone are now free agents to land at a place like Erskine or any of the other schools around the state. So,
yeah.
Rocky, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
All right. Thank you, Phil.
Take care. All right, man. Thank you. We continue. 888-898-2525. South Carolina Education Lottery, lucky number. Nick in Gaston. Hello, Nick. Welcome to Sports Talk tonight. How are you?
I'm good, man. I agree about the whole pay-for-play thing. I mean, if I'm average college, high school, I would say average high school guy, and I can do 4 years in high school and collect $1.8 million, and why do I give a crap about a worthless piece of paper with somebody's name on it?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm calling Fran Halloran. I just made bank, bro. Show me the money, and who cares about an education?
Yep. Well, the thing is, you should get your education while you're getting that money if you're smart, because the pressure's off of you. The pressure's off of you now. Think about it. The pressure is off of you as an athlete. If you can go to college and get that kind of money, you're able to take care of your family for an extended period and yourself. If you're fortunate enough to go to the next level, then you can just add to it. But let's just say you're not. Let's just say you're not that good. You're not going to make it to the next level. You're good in college, or you get injured. It'd be nice to have a degree to fall back on. You can go open a business if you You can pursue whatever you want to pursue because you've got the money in the bank. That's a security blanket that almost no other college student will have when he or she leaves college. I mean, some will have jobs lined up for sure, no question about it, but will they start at $1 million plus? How many students graduating are going to start at $1 million plus? Very few are going to have that kind of security blanket coming out of college. These folks are very fortunate that this thing has worked out this way for them, and I can certainly understand, though I don't like the process. I don't like the schools are basically being held hostage because it's either pay up or lose a player, in the case of the best players. I relate to the professional ranks, but that's private money that is going into that. That's ownership dollars. That's not the case here. No single person owns these colleges. So that's money coming out of the pockets of the fans, or maybe in the case of state schools, maybe some state money slides in there somehow, some way. I don't know for sure, but right now the leverage is all with the players and their agents. It's a great time to be a great athlete, and it's a great time to be an agent if you can hook up with a great high school athlete. No doubt about it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, if I got a degree from XYZ and it's got $1 more, blah, 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 am I going to make 1.8 my first year in business? I kind of doubt it. But if I get 1.8 and I got a half a brain and I invest a quarter of that, I don't have to worry about a degree. I mean,
you're
the
right.
college education these days, they get you in the job because you knew my dad, he knew your dad, and we were contributors to the college. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. I mean, let's be real.
Do you think, and we're running short on time, this will be a good discussion for later on, and thank you so much for the phone call. Do you think fans' attitudes towards players will change now that they're being paid? In the past it was, hey, man, don't boo the players. They're just students. They're just students out there playing the game. So don't support them, don't boo them. But now they're paid. And they're paid lots of money. And if they don't perform, are fans going to turn on them? Be right back with Dr. Jerome Singleton.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Cloudy with a slight chance of some overnight rain. Staying warm, the low temperature is 65. Tomorrow, more clouds than sunshine. A 20% chance we get some late afternoon storm activity. Scattered showers on Saturday in the afternoon and our evening hours. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Tradition and quality. That's what you get with H&J Cattle Company, where local third-generation farmers ensure you receive the finest beef in South Carolina. Our registered Hereford and Wagyu cattle are raised with sustainable practices without growth hormones, antibiotics, or animal byproducts. Taste the difference with the highest quality beef guaranteed. Order now at HandJCattle.com or on Instagram and Facebook at H&J Cattle. Again, HandJCattle.com, where ethics meets quality.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump says he's nominating his National Security Advisor Mike Waltz to serve as United Nations ambassador in a major shakeup of his national security team. The president said that Secretary of State Marco Rubio will serve simultaneously as acting National Security Advisor while maintaining his role at the State Department. A federal judge has blocked the Trump administration from deporting any Venezuelans from South Texas under an 18th century wartime law and says President Trump's invocation of that law was unlawful. U.S. District Judge Fernando Rodriguez Jr. is the first judge to rule that the Alien Enemies Act cannot be used against people whom the Republican administration claims are gang members invading the United States. More details at srnnews.com.
Hey, this is Kev with my good friend Ken from over at Broker Solar, and he really is a good friend. I've known Ken's family for more than 20 years. All right, so how many people lost power for an extended time back when we had that hurricane come through here, right? You got the solution, though, Ken, the solar-powered batteries.
The battery with solar system is essential. Not only can you back up your loads in an emergency event like a power outage, but you can also control the peak times that you use power, and the batteries can kick in to supplement your power usage. With our solar batteries, you can back up the home just like a generator would, but run it off the clean energy from the sun, which we get every single day. So no need to refill the gas, propane tanks, all powered by the sun.
Remember, Broker Solar is local. You make the call, the investment is worth it. How do the Point listeners find you over at Broker Solar, Ken?
The best way is going to be through brokersolar.com. Plenty of contact us buttons, but the phone number to reach us at would be 803-807-7417.
Dave Ramsey here. Do you want your money to work for you rather than you working for your money? Go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank and have been serving the Midlands since 1936, offering good old-fashioned customer service and free services. They'll look out for your financial well-being. With 14 locations, check them out today at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Escape the hustle and bustle of everyday life with Spa MD, your sanctuary of rejuvenation. Feel the tension melt away as our expert team guides you through your customized wellness journey. From soothing massages to revitalizing treatments, we promise a remarkable experience that leaves you feeling renewed and empowered. Discover the calm within every visit. Reach out at 251-9400 or online at visitspamd.com to explore your options. Your oasis of tranquility awaits.
Hi, I'm Dondi Mercer-Plank. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or just starting, let me introduce you to Grow Your Garden with Sal, your go-to spot for everything you need this season. As a South Carolina certified farm, they offer locally grown vegetable seedlings, plants, and seeds to help your garden thrive. And don't worry if you don't have a green thumb, Sal and her team will teach you how to grow with confidence. Shop online at growyourgardenwithsal.com or stop by 113 Hilltop Drive in Columbia.
It's painting season in the Midlands, and Southern Palmetto Painting and Renovation sets the tone for inspired living. Watch your home change from ordinary to outstanding with colors that liven every wall and craftsmanship you can trust. Michael and his team are fully licensed, bonded, and insured. They care for every detail inside and out of your home. Let's give your home the style and care it deserves. Call 922-5615 Southern Palmetto Painting and Renovations, where every project reflects pride.
Sports talk every weeknight from 6 to 8, feeling just right. Phil, Chris, and Josh, they're in the zone. Across South Carolina, they're well known. Sports talk, bringing the heat. Talking sports, can't be beat. Tune in, don't you?
We are back. It's a big Thursday night edition of Sports Talk. Sports Talk Media Network. One of the hot issues in our state right now involves the South Carolina High School League, which is led by the executive director, Dr. Jerome Singleton. Dr. Singleton joins us here live on Sports Talk. It's great to have him with us once again. Coach, how are you?
I'm good, Mr. Cornblue. Appreciate you having me.
Yes, sir. Please call me Phil. You know better than that. Come on, man.
All right.
Great to have you with us, though. I wanted to have you on because I know there's been a couple of sessions with the legislature that you have gone in front of, and you have faced some hard questions, some harsh questions, some criticism, some direct calls for your resignation, et cetera, et cetera. So I thought we would talk with you about this. Maybe you can help explain the position of the high school league, why it's coming under fire from some in the House of Representatives on this committee, and maybe what you see going forward. So let me begin by asking you about these sessions in front of this committee at the House of Representatives and how you feel that has played out as you have gone before this committee. Did you expect it to become as vicious? I see it as being vicious. Did you expect it to become quite as hot-tempered as it maybe became with some of the questioning?
Well, Phil, I recognize the passion that the people of South Carolina have for high school athletics. I mean, it is really a big deal, and I recognize the fact that when we're talking about parents' prized possession, which is their kids, I mean that it can become an emotional situation. I also recognize that that if you had to place a face with the association, then that would be mine. While there's an executive committee that exists, it's very transit. I mean, every 4 years there's a new committee as they rotate their way through. So the only constant that they could have is if you had to put a face with it, would be the face of the commissioner.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very appreciative and feel very fortunate to have served in this position, or to serve in this position, because there are only 51 of these that exist in the entire country. So while I recognize all these challenges that comes along with it, and the legislators, I mean, they respond to their constituents, so I can appreciate that also. But sometimes there are some misunderstandings of what goes on, and sometimes if it's not articulated right, people walk away with a true misunderstanding of what it is.
Yeah. Let's see if we can clear up some of those misunderstandings as I see it. First of all, the high school league is it's a public entity, right? It's not run or owned by state government. Is that correct?
That's correct. It's a 501c3, and it belongs to the membership. 224 high schools, 200 plus middle schools. They are the owners of that association.
So why would you have to answer to a committee of the House? Is it because the public schools, are owned by the state? Is that the connection?
Well, again, we're dealing with prized possessions. The students. Mm-hmm. These are ones that the voters actually care a lot about. So they reach to the group that they feel could best serve their need. Our schools have done a fantastic job in making changes and preparing for any societal change, or preparing these young student athletes for better in life. But those parents tend to reach to their legislators mm-hmm. if they feel like that they could make a change. But a misunderstanding is that it's not a state entity. It can be recognized as a quasi-state entity, mm-hmm. but because the majority of the schools that participate in the South Carolina High School League are state, for lack of a better term, state entities, it's hard not to draw the connection. Yep. We're a regulatory agency by design. Mm-hmm. While we provide a lot of services, we're a regulatory agency, and regulatory is to try to keep a balanced playing field, try to keep the interests of student athlete at the forefront, create an educational experience for them as they play through it, as they go through this. So while we're regulatory, we do try to provide them services, stuff like leadership conferences, sportsmanship summits, health and wellness workshops. I mean, all those things are services. But by design, it was created for regulatory, to make sure that everybody's playing by the same rules.
So some of the questioning got really personal. One legislator asked for your resignation. You declined. Good on you. It seems like some of the harshest questioning comes from areas where you've had some controversial decisions to be made first by the high school league, and then through the executive committee, and then through the appeals process, where schools are forced out of the playoffs, or they're fined because of rules violations and all that. Is it simple enough to say that folks in those areas are going to their legislators and putting the pressure on them to come put the pressure on you?
Well, I'm not sure. We've got a lot of legislators, I don't know the number, that those in the House and those that are in the Senate. The majority of them we've not had any issues with. They are moving along as they see things are. So, but there's a selected few that have some things brought to their attention that they want to create issues with. I like to play with the numbers a little bit. You know, we've got 80,000 student athletes participating in sports each year. One tenth of 80,000, of course, is 8,000. 1% of 80,000 is 800. 1/10 of that 800 is 80, which is 1/10 of 1%. You know, so when we look at all of those that are participating and things are going, that it feel like it's working in the direction that it needs to go, and then we get that 1% there, which is big because we're dealing with prized possession, which brings an emotional piece to it, which is big, and all of them we'd like for them to have a great experience for it. But when you look at the numbers, I'm not trying to diminish the concerns that anybody have, but we're regulatory. We're going to have issues that come up that needs to be addressed. In absence of if we don't have these items, these issues to come up, there'd be no need for the regulatory agency. But we're regulatory to try to keep a balanced playing field. And I've always been a proponent of making decisions, creating rules that are there before there's any names or faces attached to it. And that way, when it does occur, you can apply the rule or the sanction without being judged as being subjective. It's a totally objective decision.
Yeah.
If the speed limit is 60 and you go 70 and you get stopped, it was 60 before you got stopped.
Well, that has been you your entire time. I can't think of about your predecessors and how they did it, but just I pointed out before when we're talking to Dr. Jerome Singleton from the high school league, you're a black and white arbiter in this situation. I know that you go by the letter of the law. Everybody knows that you go by the letter of the law, which is your position. And like you said, it's objectivity, not subjectivity. And you have an executive committee. Well, first of all, let me back up. Your organization, the high school league, does not make the rules, correct? Aren't the rules made by the schools, by their ADs and their principals who get together? You guys don't make the rules. The high school league, that body that's come under fire by everybody, you don't make the rules. Is that correct?
That's exactly right. And terminology is big. The high school league is the member school. Where I am is the league office, the headquarters. But all directions comes from the membership. Any decision that has already been made for any issues that come up, our role is to apply those rules as written. Now, there are some where they give limited authority to the commissioner to use some discretion. But I'm very careful with that because the total membership decided to say, well, Jerome, this is the rule. This is what we want to apply. So unless I can easily defend going against what their rule is, I choose not to go against their rule.
Right.
But the beauty of it, Phil, is that the executive committee is made up of members from the member school. And you can look at all areas. We got them from the State Department of Education, School Board Association, Superintendent Association, Principal Association, Athletic Directors Association, Coaches Association. We even extended to Officials Association, the Middle School Association. We go to every classification and give them each classification gets to put a representative on it. Private schools and charter schools have representation, and they are at large just in case we miss something. A 17-member that is as diverse as you could ever think of. That group gets to hear any request to set aside a rule, and they're the ones that need to stand forward and say, yeah, but, because they're in the schools, and if you came in with an issue of where the rule shouldn't apply, they can identify with you. And if they identify with it, they say, yeah, it makes sense. This is unusual. I believe we ought to set it aside. Or they say, well, that's our everyday. We won't set it aside, and it doesn't take supermajority. All it takes is a simple majority to grant the exception.
So with the executive committee and then the appeals panel that you have also that was created a few years ago, you've got two steps to go through in the enforcement process. And the executive committee is made up of people from the schools, as you pointed out. The appellate committee is made up of other people as well. I guess some from schools and some from maybe, I think there might be some legislative type people involved on there. My point is, all this angst and anger, I think, is misdirected. When they say the high school league over and over again, and these legislators talk about disarray and all this sort of stuff, their anger, I think, is being misdirected. I mean, it's the executive committee that makes the decisions on penalties, and then it's the appellate committee that either shoots it down or upholds it. You're not an investigative arm, are you? Does your office actually do investigative work, or is that handled by the schools themselves?
Yes, I've got a small staff. I've got 4 assistant directors, and we've got over 400 schools when you count high schools.
Yep.
So we really count on our schools to police themselves. Most times, if somebody sends us something, we're going to ask the school and send it to the school and ask them to look into it and get back with us. Now, some would say, well, what do you expect them to come back with? Well, I am very confident that our school wants to do the right thing. Most times when they have issue is because of a mistake that they probably, or something that they overlooked. Unfortunately, the rule is in place to address that. So we don't do any part of investigating any of it other than what the school share with us that they've done.
Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to understand what the end game is here from the legislature and from this committee and from those who want to create a whole new body and end an association, the high school league, that's been in place since 1913. I mean, is it their idea to create a whole new body and they want to appoint the people themselves onto this body? And I mean, and then what are they going to do? Are they going to create the rules? Are they going to enforce the rules? Are they going to investigate? Is that what what is their end game here? Do you have an idea what their end game is going to be, or what they want it to be?
I can only speak to what's written in the bill, and all those things that you just shared is currently written in the bill. But let me pause for a minute. The Education Committee in the House saw fit to pause that bill, to adjourn debate on it, and open up for dialogue between representation from the South Carolina High School League and representation from the state legislature. And with that, we're hoping that we can find where the concerned areas are, and if there is a possible solution to address those concerned areas without creating unintentional consequences where we magnify other concerned areas. So I appreciate the fact that Representative Erickson requested that they pause, for lack of a better term, and adjourn debate on it until the next session. So we're looking to see. Maybe there's some things in there that really we're missing that probably needs to be addressed. But also, I think just the fact that both groups are getting together, there'll be a better understanding of what's involved. Because sometimes, ignorance is not a bad thing. Ignorance is just not knowing. But once you know, then it's no longer ignorance. Then you get to make a choice. So once the things that we could learn from them, the things that they could learn from the league, I mean, we're all going to be better, at least better educated in what needs to occur.
Yeah, I'm talking with Dr. Jerome Singleton for a few more minutes here on Sports Talk on this Thursday night. So tell me, in your opinion, what's one or two things you think the high school league can do better that would satisfy these legislators?
I am not sure. That's where the collaboration is going to help, so we can identify those things that could possibly be done better. Some of the things that have changed is the transfer rule. It's kind of mirroring choice, where students are being more and more allowed to choose different schools for educational purposes. And I want to make sure that we don't mistake the transfer rule being a transfer portal.
Yeah.
What it is school choice. And we've got to determine, is it really choice if you have to make a decision academically, but you have to set aside the athletic piece? Seems to me that if athletic is supposed to serve as a resource or help to the academic educational piece, then we ought to try to be in line with it. So that's one of the changes that occur, and that's a major change. That's going to really have some some possible unintentional consequences that we weren't aware of. But, Phil, 5 years from now, the kids that come through, that's the only transfer rule they were ever aware of. Only those that have known the other and going through this will be able to draw a difference. But 5, 6 years from now, those that come through wouldn't have known any other type of transfer.
Yeah.
So that's big. And then, of course, they throw these things out like NILs and how that's impacting. Make no bones about it. The league does not have an NIL policy. We have an amateur status rule. NIL is clarified within the amateur status rule. You cannot play for pay. But NILs allow you to have to benefit from your intellectual property, and that's your name, image, and likeness. Well, I don't think we have the authority to tell anybody that they can't benefit from their intellectual property.
Mm-hmm.
But what the membership has decided is that you cannot use the intellectual property of the schools or the league, which means you can't use their name, their mascot, their logo, because the student doesn't own that. Outside of that, there is no prohibitive from the league of you using your intellectual property. So again, while NIL is there is no NIL policy by the South Carolina High School League, and again, so we just want to make sure we clarify what you can do and still maintain your amateur status, which is important.
Absolutely. So, last question, we'll let you go. So, if you're a public body, as you are, you're not owned by the state. Of course, the state owns the high schools, and the schools, I guess, own the high school league and all that.
Yes.
Is that how they can get to the high school league? In other words, if they wanted to shut down the high school league and start up this new association, is that because they own the high schools and that is how they can shut down that operation if they choose to do so?
Well, I guess that would be a way that they could affect it. Not owning the league, they can't shut it down. Mm-hmm. But in absence of it having any members, it kind of satisfies the same thing. If there's no members, it's pretty much shut down. It's there to serve as a service. And again, I've been doing it for a lot of years, been there a long time. And the beauty of what we have is that it's about educational athletics, education-based athletics. There are lessons to be learned through playing sports and being part of a team. And that's what the league fosters. That's what the membership wants. Create these issues of where decisions have to be made so that we can create teachable moments of how to behave when these things occur. Win with grace. Lose with dignity. I mean, just don't go crazy because you didn't win.
Yeah.
But don't go crazy because you lost either. And listen, in life, you can do everything right. You can be the healthiest person that exists. You can eat all the right food, do all the exercise, and you still could die.
Mm. Agreed.
So
I agree.
And so that's all part of life. These are things that occur in life, and I think what athletics offer is those insulated opportunities to have a teachable moment, so that when you do step out in life, certain behaviors won't be tolerated in society. It's much more detrimental than having to miss a game or having to not be in the playoffs. I mean, certain behaviors could really change your work life, your home life, your freedom. Let's learn these things while we're in school. Education-based athletics. Trophies are given, championships are won, but that's a small percentage of the total group that we have. 80,000. Most teams don't win. Very few teams win championships.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not for everybody. So the bigger goal is a teachable moment.
Well, I hope that we educated some people on some things related to the high school league. I know we all, media, fans, and you know it, when there's something that goes wrong, oh, the high school league is so stupid. The high school league this, high school league that. And I understand that. You've got the emblem. It's like the NCAA. The NCAA is nothing more than the member schools. The member schools make the rules.
That's correct.
Same
That's
here,
correct.
and I'm just trying to inform people through you that, yes, there are decisions made you might not like, and there's things that happen that you feel are unfair, but it's not Jerome Singleton, it's not his staff, it's not the people in that building. it's the schools themselves, it's the executive committee, and it's the appellate committee that makes those decisions. That's why I think some of these legislators are off base with their direct attacks on you. I got to admit, Jerome, I was taken back by some of the language. I know you handled it with grace, and you're that type of person. You're not going to fire back. But I was taken back by the way some of these guys verbally attacked you in those hearings.
Yeah, and I recognize those as their opinion. You know, it's not like they got amen from it or a group of them saying yes, 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 yes. So those, you know, when it's isolated like that, I recognize it for what it is. It's their opinion.
Yeah. We thank you for being with us tonight. Good luck with everything moving forward. We're looking forward to the rest of the high school season. We got some championships to be awarded here over the next month. Looking forward to that. And we'll see you sometime during the football season, I'm sure.
Yes, sir. And this is the fun time of the year for me to get out there and watch championships being played and won, and those kids getting excited and having an opportunity to showcase their talent to their communities and for the way we broadcast things now to the whole world. So this is the part that makes it all worth it.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Dr. Jerome Singleton, Executive Director of the South Carolina High School League, and we appreciate his time tonight, and I hope that maybe we shined a positive light. And listen, disclaimer here, I support the high school league and what they do. Excuse me. And I think I have an understanding of how it operates and understand that Dr. Singleton and his staff are not they're kind of enforcers of the rules, but the rules are not written by them, not made by them. Excuse me. They are delivered to them by the principals, the ADs of the schools themselves, and their job is to make sure that the schools fall in line with those rules. And I just thought some of the questioning from people on those committees were misplaced, to be honest with you. So I see nothing wrong with our current arrangement. I think they took a step forward with the appellate committee to hear the results from the executive committee. And if they could overrule that, so be it. And I understand the emotion that goes in to these hearings and these decisions. I get that. I've sat in on them, so I've seen how it hurts when somebody loses a chance to play in the playoffs over a simple issue. But there is a process in place.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump is nominating his national security advisor to serve as United Nations ambassador in a staff shakeup. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
Mike Waltz is being removed as National Security Advisor and has been tapped to represent the U.S. at the United Nations. Meanwhile, Marco Rubio will serve simultaneously as Secretary of State and Acting National Security Advisor. The president announced the personnel moves after news broke that Waltz was departing the White House. Waltz made embarrassing headlines back in March when he mistakenly added a reporter to his Signal chat on military strikes. Greg Clugston, Washington.
There's an update on that driver in the fatal crash at an after-school program in Illinois.
Police say that the driver of a car that barreled through a building used for a popular after-school camp in central Illinois, killing 3 children and a teenager, may have had a medical emergency.
However, the investigation of this information and other evidence has not yet concluded and will continue.
State Police Director Brendan Kelly.
Initial preliminary toxicology test results were negative for alcohol and negative for controlled substances.
So far, no decision has been made on whether to file charges against the 44-year-old driver. 6 other children were hospitalized, with 1 in critical condition. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Millions of coins spilled onto a Texas highway this week after a tractor-trailer hauling $800,000 in dimes rolled over in an accident. The spillage closed a portion of the southbound lanes of US 287 in Alvord for about half the day on Tuesday. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 83 points today. More on these stories at townhall.com.
You heard me talk about Relief Factor and how so many people enjoy a better, more pain-free life because of it. If you're dealing with everyday pain, it makes sense you'd want to try it first. Well, Relief Factor makes that pretty pain-free too with their 3-week quick start kit for only $19.95, less than $1 a day. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain temporarily, it helps reduce or eliminate pain. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF, 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor.
Healthcare is complicated. It doesn't have to be. If you don't love how your health insurance works, maybe it's time to leave traditional health insurance behind. Take charge of your healthcare with Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM offers you flexibility. Enroll anytime, choose your own provider, and select the program that fits your needs and budget. CHM is the original faith-based way of taking care of your medical bill costs. Learn more at chministries.org/wellness.
The Trump administration is looking for more air traffic controllers. Correspondent Donna Warder reports.
The Federal Aviation Administration is short some 3,000 air traffic controllers. So the Trump administration is offering a $5,000 bonus to new hires and a bonus to those who are ready to retire.
If we need to get more controllers in our towers, why don't we try to incentivize those really well-experienced air traffic controllers? Let's incentivize them to stay.
Duffy also says new hires who choose to work in harder-to-fill locations will be rewarded. He says the bonuses are in addition to the 30% salary increase given to air traffic controllers in March. Donna Warder, Washington.
A federal health agency says the U.S. has 884 confirmed measles cases this year. News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Cloudy with a slight chance of some overnight rain. Staying warm, the low temperature 65. Tomorrow, more clouds than sunshine. A 20% chance we get some late afternoon storm activity. Scattered showers on Saturday in the afternoon and our evening hours. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is Sports Talk here on the Sports Talk Media Network. Big Thursday night. Glad to have you with us. Thanks again to Dr. Jerome Singleton for being with us. Enjoyed the conversation. If you missed part of it, we will have it up on our website for you later tonight, SportsTalkSC.com. Of course, you can always hear portions of the show in podcast form. We take the interviews and stuff like that, put it in podcast form. Spotify, SoundCloud, those are two great places to go. SoundCloud, a lot of people go there. Spotify as well. So it's where we put our podcast or our bits that are in podcast form. SoundCloud, Sports Talk Media Network, look for it there. Spotify, Sports Talk Media Network, look for it there. So appreciate it. As I was saying, we ran out of time there. I always hate when I talk my way into the break without being able to properly sign off an hour. So I apologize for that, but I was trying to get my last thought out. What I was trying to say was they have processes in place. It's not the high school league as we talked about over and over again. I hate to be a broken record here, but it's not the high school league. It's the executive committee made up of people from the high schools and the appellate committee. Okay, that's the people. If you want to get mad, that's who you should get mad at. I do understand. I was there. What was it? I mean, it's been how many years ago was it that Goose Creek was kicked out of the playoffs? They were going to win a state championship in football, and I mean, the hearings were carried live. The high school league offices were absolutely packed with people. It was emotional because you had the case of a player who it turned out was ineligible, but he only played in like one or two games because he was a kind of a special needs situation. And so they played him late in blowout games. It was no factor whatsoever, but there was some issue in paperwork and having been in a different school district, et cetera, and Goose Creek got called on the floor. Chuck Reedy was the coach, and they got called on the carpet for it. And, I mean, they were kicked out of the playoffs, and they were going to win the state championship. They had a great football team. They were going to win another state championship. And, I mean, I was there. Coach Reedy was in tears, and his principal. It's very emotional because the people you're hurting are the kids with those decisions. The people you're hurting are the kids who had nothing to do with that particular situation. I'm not talking about a hidden transfer, and that led to the creation of the appellate. What really upset, as I recall, the Goose Creek people, Chuck Reedy and all them, was the executive committee. And let's face it, I mean, there's some grudges on that committee, right? I think they hold grudges, or they have – I don't know how objective it is. There might be a lot of subjectivity on there when it comes to, they have an axe to grind with a principal or a school district or whatever. Does that come into play? It probably does in those discussions and in their decisions. And so then they created the appellate board or panel to hear to take it to another level to review the executive committee's decision, and they can overturn that. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So, I mean, I get it. I understand all that, but it's not the high school league. That's why I don't understand why this committee, this House committee, wants to create a whole new body to do the same thing the high school league's going to do. Unless you're going to create a body that is owned by the state government, that is funded by the state government, that is filled with people appointed by the legislature, which makes it totally political, to do the doings of the legislature, which I don't see where that's going to do anything any good. I mean, what has our legislature done for education in our state anyway? We're always 50th in the nation, or 45th, or 46th. Not the teachers' fault, and I promise you that. It's not the teachers. Somewhere else up the line, up the chain of command. But anyway, nobody wants to see that, I would say. So I would say back off, Jack and Jill. I think there was a female legislator as well. Back off, Jack and Jill and everybody else, because you're misguided. And you're listening to your constituents. Well, they're pissed off because maybe, their school ran afoul of the rules and got hit for it or something. And now they're going after the high school league. So prove me wrong. Love to, prove me wrong if I'm wrong on this. Our phone number, 888-898-2525, if you want to jump on board. No Mike Morgan tonight. Paul Maneri coming up shortly, the baseball coach at South Carolina. Here is, we do have a text message in from a listener who sends us two text messages. One is, Lugoff Elgin lost their head football coach yesterday to Rock Hill. This is true. Coach Boulware, going back to his alma mater, a tough thing for a school the day before spring ball. This is true. He doubled their wins last year, and things were looking up, so this is awful timing for LE for sure. And then the unnamed writer writes regarding the high school league, the ironic thing is that the very same few politicians that attacked Jerome Singleton, for not pleasing their favorite school, will get in front of a TV camera on a political issue and say, quote, "You can't please everybody. You just have to do what you think is right," end quote. Well, yeah, and I mean, if you paid attention to Jerome, you know, and we've said it before, he goes by the letter of the rule book. And if the rule says this, like he said, if you're in a 60-mile-an-hour speed zone and you're going 70 and you get pulled over and ticketed, well, that's because you were 10 miles over the speed limit. And the speed limit was posted a few miles back, and you chose to violate that. Same thing. That's his approach to how he deals with the rules and enforcement of the rules from the high school league. So anyway, that is that story. Okay, phone number 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number here on Sports Talk. We'll get back to your phone calls. If you're watching our stream, you might notice there's a new person in the chair. No, the plumber's still here. He's not going anywhere, but we're breaking in new talent here on Sports Talks. We want to welcome to the program Jesse Johnston, a Winthrop grad who is from, don't tell me, Lexington? Irmo, Lexington, Irmo. So Jesse, we have a nickname for Jesse. If you look at him on camera, you can tell this nickname fits. Everybody has a nickname, right? So he is Jesse the Body here now producing on Sports Talk. Jesse the Body, and we have the plumber, you have the corn, you have Bergie, you have Smitty. Who else? That's pretty much it right now. So welcome, Jesse the Body, behind the scenes, running the show here on Sports Talk. All right, back to the phone calls. 888-898-2525 is the phone number. I closed my sheet, doggone it. Where are we going? Just holler it out, plumber. Tiger Bryan from Lancaster. Tiger Bryan, welcome into Sports Talk. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. Hey, welcome, Jesse the Body. Hey, if you put up a corn, he'll make it. Hey, he'll make something. He'll make a real man out of it.
I'm not crossing this guy. This guy.
I know. I sound like you.
He's built like a middle linebacker.
Well, he'll be your bodyguard, corn. You know, you got.
Ooh,
you know,
do I need
you
one?
To have your posse.
Do I need one?
No, you don't need no bodyguard.
No.
But you talking about that? I worked at school there for 31 years in Lancaster County here, and we got great teachers and all. And you got idiots that runs the upper management. Let me put it that way. That just like that high school league thing you was talking about. Special need kid. They would be proud to have a kid on that team and give him, have him get out there and do something. Playing football or whatever. Wasn't like he was a 5-star quarterback. I mean.
Well, the one rule I'd like to see them put in place, and we talked about this during the last dust-up during the high school season when you had an issue in girls basketball down the low country, and that is, and even like Mike Anthony, who was with us, even took it a step farther, but I said when the playoffs begin, your rosters are locked, and if you're at a rival school and you think another school has an ineligible player, and you haven't reported it by the time the playoffs are set to begin, I think the roster should be locked because that's where the problem is, and it causes a great deal of confusion. Mike Anthony says it should be done before the season starts because before the season starts who's on the rosters, and you would know if there's been some illegal movement there. So you report it, you get it done before the season. I could live with that as well. But at the very least, there should be a rule created that when the playoff rosters are set, if you're playing games, somebody's got an ineligible player, but you're waiting to that opportune time to take it to the high school league, and then you create all kind of anxiety and controversy and uproar, and that should be avoided. I would say lock the rosters when the playoff begins. If you haven't turned somebody in, that's tough on you. You have to live with it moving forward.
Well, you're right, Corn. I'm going to tell you something. All my Gamecock and Clemson fans, I appreciate the prayer for my son. He's doing great. Went back to work this week after about 6 weeks out.
Super.
He's doing good, man. I just appreciate all y'all. Man, I love y'all. And if anybody around, all my Gamecock Clemson fans, come on out to Smoky Rail Saturday night here. Raw Deal, my buddy's band's playing up there. If you ever ate up there coming out of Indian Land, come on and eat that, but it's good eating.
I bet. I bet. What's the name of the band?
Raw Deal.
Raw Deal.
Yeah, that's your adversary's nephew.
Which adversary?
On the Roar. Yeah, your Roar.
Oh, you talking about
my
Mickey?
Roar boy.
Mickey's no adversary.
Mickey's nephew plays the drum. Mark Baker, my best friend.
Yeah.
I know some people now.
You
ain't the only famous people I know.
You're connected. You are a connected
I'm connected
dude.
with a bunch of people now.
You probably know Paul McCartney. Since you're in the music business, you probably know Paul
McCartney. Myself. He's the best.
Ringo Starr. You probably know Ringo Starr.
No, I don't. I know them. I know sports people like you, man.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, thank you, TB.
All right. Y'all have a great night.
You too, buddy.
Enjoy the show.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Okay. Let's go to the break, and we'll come back with more phone calls in just a moment here on Sports Talk. As we go to the break, give you the leaderboard at the CJ Cup. Byron Nelson, which is taking place in Texas, and Scotty Scheffler back in his home state. He goes low today, 10 under 61. Got a 2-shot lead on Rico Hoey, Jonathan Vegas. As far as some others, we've got Ben Martin is in at 66. Good round. Trace Crow from Greenville went to Auburn. He's 4 under as he plays the 16th. Carson Young, the 68. Jordan Spieth, the 69. Brian Campbell at Bluffton, he's a 70. Kevin Kisner, a 71. Jacob Bridgman as well. And Matt Neesmith, a 72. We'll be right back.
Major Billy Downer here from the Department of Natural Resources, and DNR is excited to announce the implementation of Go Outdoors SC, a new online licensing and boat titling system that you can access right from your phone. Through this new system, customers can purchase their hunting and fishing licenses, renew their boats, apply for lottery hunt opportunities, and complete electronic harvest reporting requirements. For more information, visit Go Outdoors SC at your local app store.
Are you in the market for an auto loan? Move now. Get an auto loan from Founders Federal Credit Union now through October 31st, and you'll be entered to win up to $25,000 toward your qualifying auto loan and a $5,000 deposit into your Loyalty Select account. Loyalty Select is our highest yield savings account. Leave it there to grow or transfer it out to spend. And the best part? We'll be choosing monthly winners, so the earlier you get your auto loan, the more chances you have to win. So don't wait. Visit foundersfcu.com/auto to learn more or begin your auto loan application today. Not a Founders member yet? Visit us online or stop by an office to learn more about Founders and see if you qualify for membership. We have the financial tools you'll need and the personalized service you deserve. Relax, you're with Founders. Terms and conditions apply. Membership qualification required.
Hey, George Bryant here with Tsunami Bar Sports. Let me tell you about something new we have going on. So now we can build your own golf studio in the comfort of your own home. That's right. We can come right into the Frog, to the room over the garage, to a dedicated space, and put your simulator in where you can play Pebble Beach, Harbor Town, and anywhere in between. True Golf is our partner, and we have some cool technology. TsunamiBarSports.com. Go check it out. Again, that's TsunamiBarSports.com. And let us put your favorite golf course in the room over the garage.
I'm State Treasurer Curtis Lawkins. Whether it's becoming a teacher, dentist, or engineer, every child deserves the chance to chase their dreams. Investing in a child's education with Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 College Savings Plan, can help turn those big dreams into next steps. So don't wait. You can start with any amount. Contributions are tax deductible and earnings grow tax-free. Discover the smart, easy way to save for college at FutureScholar.com.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Welcome back. Sports Talk Media Network. Thursday night, we've got recruiting coming up. Comments from USC baseball coach Paul Maneri coming your way as well. And let's go to Andy in Columbia, our next phone caller on this big Thursday. Welcome in, Andy. How are you?
I'm good, Corn. How are you and Josh? And question about Jesse. Does he wear a boa like Jesse the Body Ventura?
I don't know. Do you wear a what's it called? A what?
He doesn't have a boa on?
A boa.
You know?
No, he doesn't wear a boa.
Yeah, one of those things, furry things that they wrap around your neck,
Oh, yeah. No, I don't think he has one of those.
Remember Jesse the Body when he used to wear that?
Now that you mention it, I think I do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You need to get him one of those if you're really going to call him Jesse the Body. But the real reason I'm calling is this.
Uh-huh.
These putzes up here at our state capitol, they have much more important things to do, like maybe take care of our roads, maybe do something about I-95 when you're coming in or going out to Georgia that look like hell rolled over. Maybe they can concentrate, if they want to do something about about our school system, concentrate a little bit more on the quality, like you said, the quality of our education, and maybe get it up into. It would be a miracle if we could get into the 30s.
Yes, it would.
I mean, holy moly. I mean, these people are worried about athletics when they can't even field an educational system that can get past number 45 in the country. And number 45 is high for us. I mean, what in God's earth are they doing up there? They don't have anything better to do.
I think it's
but
grandstanding.
To sit there and have their 5 martini lunches and decide that they want to rail on the South Carolina High School League.
I think
that's our job to do on Sports Talk, not their job to do in the State House.
I think it's grandstanding, and I think that they see a hot. Some people see an emotional hot topic that can get their names in the newspapers, and listen, Jerome is like. I think he made a good point very early in the interview, and that is, hey, they have constituents. Constituents reach out to them. Hey, we're met at the high school league for this, that, and the other. So they say, okay, we're going to go after the high school league. It's a crummy organization. It's been around since 1913. It's in disarray. One guy repeated the word disarray how many times? Disarray, disarray, disarray. He wanted him to resign and all this kind of stuff. I mean, why? What are you going to prove? What are you going to improve? And what are you going to prove by doing that? That's why I asked, what's the end game here?
He's calling the high school disarray. Look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Our General Assembly, our assemblymen up there are in disarray themselves. They can't pass a budget. They can't pass anything. I mean, hell, they didn't know where $1.8 billion was between them in the past few years. I mean, we got a bunch of putzes up there that don't know their rear end from their elbow, and it just, stay in your lane. I mean, this isn't your lane. get the.
Mm. Mm.
I don't want to say the words.
Have we showed? Hang on a second. Have we showed Jesse where the dump button is? Need to show Jesse where the dump button is, just in case we have to resort.
You know, it's just totally ridiculous on what their lack of priorities are up there, and what they should be concentrating on to make us a better state. This is not doing anything to improve the quality of our state, the quality of our education, and the quality of our young men and women who are playing sports in our high school leagues.
Hear, hear. Good call. Good points.
And y'all have a great evening. And Phil, like I said, get Jesse a boa so that he can really ride the name that you're giving him.
The body.
And I'm assuming the plumber's going to take another cruise vacation somewhere, so you need someone to fill in for him. He's always cruising somewhere.
We're building our depth here on Sports Talk. We're building our depth chart. We've gone to the transfer portal, and we're bringing in an ace. All right, thank you very much, Andy.
When's your next vacation? I know Bergen's taking like 10 days off. When are we going to be able to start celebrating Corn-Free Fridays?
Well,
again?
I have a special announcement for you tomorrow, so stay tuned.
Well, I can't wait.
See ya.
I can't wait. Y'all have a great night. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the phone call. Quickly, let's go to, Reggie in Columbia. Reggie, welcome in. How are you?
First of all, anybody who stands next to you looks like Jesse
this
the
was
body.
who this was going to be.
Even Andy, the previous caller, if he were to stand next to you, he would look like Jesse the body. A little bit of advice to Jesse, who's working there. Jesse, it's not too late to turn your life around and give. And at 8:01, just say, "Hey, Mr. Kornblut, thanks for the opportunity, but I'm gonna do something better with my life." If you look at the history of people who have worked for Kornblut, there was a young man, I'm not going to mention his name, there was a young man who used to work for Kornblut about 15 years ago, very nice, humble young man, and now you look at him on Twitter and he's challenging people to fight in the parking lot. That's what Kornblut does to people. That's what he does to people.
Let me explain, ladies and gentlemen who don't, obviously nobody recognizes your voice because nobody watches you on television. You're the lowest rated TV anchor in the state. I think, even the CW outpulls you on a nightly. This is Reggie Anderson, who calls our show only because it's the only time anybody hears his voice. Thank goodness we can't put him on you can't see him because you'd be scared out of your mind if you saw him. How are those two juvenile children you got doing? Anybody in jail yet?
Well, I'll go visit one of them on Sunday.
Is that the one that won the contest?
Oh no, he got off with probation. He's good.
Excellent. Thank you, Reggie.
By the way, Jesse, anytime Phil Kornblut talks, you hit the dump button.
Thank you. He's learning where the dump button is right now, figuring it out. Oh, that's Reggie. We pick at each other. He's really jealous of our success here at Sports Talk. That's the biggest thing. All right, we'll be back. Bottom of the hour break. We got recruiting coming up, and USC baseball coach Paul Maneri coming up as well. Be back in a moment.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Cloudy with a slight chance of some overnight rain. Staying warm, the low temperature 65. Tomorrow, more clouds than sunshine. A 20% chance we get some late afternoon storm activity. Scattered showers on Saturday in the afternoon and our evening hours. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Hey y'all, it's Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We're introducing Friday Night Prime Rib Special. Our great chefs at Flight Deck Restaurant have created a great prime rib dinner special, which includes a 10-ounce slow-roasted certified Angus beef prime rib dinner, served with two sides of your choice for only $22.95. And if you mention We Love Flight Deck, you get a free cookie or a soft drink with your meal. So come see us at Flight Deck Restaurant to enjoy a delicious slow-roasted prime rib dinner. While you're here, check out the new and improved arcade with over 33 games. We at Flight Deck Restaurant thank you, and God bless.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump says he's nominating National Security Advisor Mike Waltz as the United Nations ambassador, while Secretary of State Marco Rubio would take over Waltz's duties on an interim basis. He announced the major shakeup of his national security team shortly after news broke that Waltz and his deputy are leaving the administration. A federal judge has barred the Trump administration from deporting any Venezuelans from South Texas under an 18th century wartime law and says President Trump's invocation of that law was unlawful. U.S. District Court Judge Fernando Rodriguez Jr. is the first judge to rule that the Alien Enemies Act cannot be used against people whom the Republican administration claims are gang members invading the United States. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Lots of plumbing companies out there. Few are truly local. Time to discover the difference with Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. See, when I faced plumbing woes at the Cohen home, Josh and his dedicated team, well, they were my go-to solution. They make a commitment to exceptional service. They arrived on time, clearly detailed all the costs and procedures, and efficiently handled all my repairs without any surprises. These days, how often do we complain about a lack of customer service out there? With Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, these folks are professional. They're courteous. They're skilled at what they do, and they've earned my trust, and they've earned my recommendation to you. From urgent repairs to the tankless water heater you've always wanted, they've got you covered. Visit franklinplumbing.sc.com or call 799-2222. That's 799-2222. Hey, you tell them Kev sent you from The Point. I'm pretty sure you'll want to thank me later.
Groucho's Deli is the Midland's most loved, historic, and awarded deli and has been for decades, serving trademark subs like the STP Dipper with melty Swiss over roast beef, turkey, and bacon bits on a soft sub roll and served with Groucho's famous 45 sauce. Come into any of our 8 Midlands locations and see for yourself or pick up with fast, convenient, and friendly service at Grouchos.com or on the Groucho's app and sign up for the Groucho's Rewards and Birthday Brownie Club.
Hi, I'm Dondi Mercer-Plank. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or just starting, let me introduce you to Grow Your Garden with Sal, your go-to spot for everything you need this season. As a South Carolina certified farm, they offer locally grown vegetable seedlings, plants, and seeds to help your garden thrive. And don't worry if you don't have a green thumb, Sal and her team will teach you how to grow with confidence. Shop online at growyourgardenwithsal.com or stop by 113 Hilltop Drive in Columbia.
At Palmetto State Armory, we offer the largest selection of guns and ammunition at unbeatable prices. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff are here to provide personalized assistance, ensuring you find exactly what you need. If you enjoy outdoor activities like hunting, camping, or hiking, our clothing and outdoor gear collection has got you covered. We also feature an exceptional indoor range facility where you can experience the thrill of shooting in a safe and controlled environment. Visit us today at PalmettoStateArmory.com or your local retail store. Palmetto State Armory, American made for life.
This is Fran Halloran, the Money Coach. Grow with The Point as we build on 10 incredible years of community local radio. We've built an environment where our listeners are our family. Are you a small business with big dreams? Join the tremendous stable of advertising partners at The Point. Connect with Kevin Cohen and brainstorm a tailored strategy to escalate your business growth using the powerful platform of The Point. Call Kev directly at 563-8558. Teaming with The Point, you can make the next year your best year.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
All right, time for the recruiting report tonight here on Sports Talk, brought to you by Seawells. I had the distinct pleasure of having lunch today with gentleman Jim Corbett at Seawells. Oh, my goodness. What a body. You ever been to, buddy, I got to take you to Seawells. You been to Seawells? Got to take you to Seawells. I mean, you can work it off, you know. We don't want to negatively impact the body, you know. But Seawells, it's not going to hurt you, you know. It's nutritious, so it's good nutrition. I mean, like they had brisket today, they had fried chicken, they had barbecue chicken, and they had meatloaf. I mean, that's four M's. That's the 4 M's, right? Beef, chicken, beef. Well, it's not all meats, but you know what I mean. Well, chicken, beef, whatever. Mashed potatoes, string beans, salad. What else do they have? Collards. Yeah, collards. It wasn't turnips. Collards. Great desserts. They bring you a whole pitcher of tea on the table. That's just not us. I mean, we're treated like, of course, kings when we walk in there, but because, but that's everybody. Everybody gets a pitcher of tea. So make sure you're there tomorrow, because tomorrow is a roast beef Friday. So if you're looking for the meats, if you're looking for the beef, tomorrow is the day at Seawell's. Roast beef Friday. It's only $14.50, $14 in cash, $14.50 with your card, and you can't beat it. That's Seawell's in Columbia, the daily luncheon buffet. And, of course, if you got something that requires the very best in the catering business, that would be Seawell's. Also, SeawellsCateringSC.com, SeawellsCateringSC.com, online at 803-771-7385. All right, so South Carolina gets another Portal John pickup today, a PJPU, Portal John pickup. It's Nolan Hay. He is 6'4", 300. Not as I have written in my copy, 9'4", 300. He is 6'4", 300. Talk about your typos. From Incarnate Word, he chose the Gamecocks over Oklahoma State, the only two schools he visited once he entered the Portal John. He completed his official visit with the Gamecocks Wednesday, and he flew back to San Antonio this morning to continue his exams. Earlier this week, he told us about South Carolina. He liked that it's a winning program. He likes that that's really what matters to him at the end of the day. He said everybody's about money nowadays, but he said we play the game to compete and win. South Carolina was a top 25 team last season and played really well. So he said he's a very competitive guy. He wants to win at the highest level possible, and he's excited about South Carolina. He has a lot of snaps under his belt as an offensive lineman at both Houston Christian and Incarnate Word. Last season, he was part of an offensive line that led the way to 2,665 rushing yards, and which gave up the fewest sacks in their league with 21. He was named second team all-conference. He said the Gamecock coaches want him to come in and compete with Boaz Stanley, a transfer from Troy, for the starting center position. Stanley joined the Gamecocks in January and went through spring practice. Hay gives the Gamecocks 43 newcomers in the 2025 roster, for the 2025 roster, that's right, including 16 from the transfer portal. Excuse me. Official visits are rapidly approaching for offensive tackle Leo Delaney, 6'6", 280 of Charlotte. He's got a decision set for July 7th, and he's going to choose from Clemson, Michigan, Penn State, and Tennessee. Each has an official visit scheduled with him. Clemson gets the first chance on May 30th. And Delaney says the foundation of each program can lead to success on the field. So he has found that at each of the four programs that he is focusing on. He says that he wants to be coached up for 3 years. Then, of course, he wants to move on to the league. And one advantage for Clemson could be the fact that one of his teammates, receiver Gordon Sellers, has already committed to Clemson. And he has been in his ear, Delaney said, about him going to Clemson. So he's got another recruiter right there in Charlotte working him every day. So the rest of his visits, as I mentioned, besides Clemson, are going to be to Michigan, Penn State, and Tennessee with an announcement on July 11th. South Carolina sent out several more offers on Thursday. They included 2027 running back Nigel Newkirk, 5'11", 200 of Gainesville, Georgia. 27 safety Jernard Albright, 6'2", 205 of Savannah. 27 offensive tackle. All right, hang in there with me on this one. Oluwas Mallory. Olu Abola. That's all one person. Olu Wasamoli. No. Olu Wasamalori. Olu Babaloa. 6'7", 275 from Carteret, New Jersey. That's a lot of letters. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, about 12 letters in the first name. Anyway, offered by South Carolina. Defensive end Luke Waffle, 6'6", 250, Princeton, New Jersey, offered by South Carolina. He's in the 26 class. Clemson has also offered Waffle. 28, defensive end Jackson Vaughn, 6'3", 225, Plainfield, New Jersey. 27, defensive end Josiah Field, 6'4", 245, of Charlotte. Yesterday, USC offered 27, defensive tackle John Archer, 6'5", 300, of Fayetteville, North Carolina. Tuesday night, USC offered wide receiver Brady Marchese, 6'1", 185, of Cartersville, Georgia. He has been a Georgia commitment since mid-March, but he told us he is open to his other options, and that does include considering South Carolina. And the Gamecocks have offered 28 receiver, 5'11", Charles Davis Jr. of McDonough, Georgia. South Carolina target quarterback Landon Duckworth has set an official visit with Auburn for May 16th. Auburn coaches were in yesterday to visit with South Carolina targets defensive tackle Aiden Harris and his twin brother, defensive end Andrew Harris. Timberland offensive tackle Desmond Green was visited by North Carolina Wednesday. South Carolina offensive line coach Lonnie Teasley is expected to be in to see him next week. South Carolina target safety Joel Cumbe was offered by Florida. In an article on 24/7 Sports, wide receiver Devin Fitzgerald, 6'2", 196 of Phoenix, he's the son of former NFL great Larry Fitzgerald, said he will take an official visit to Clemson on May 30th. He has visited Clemson. He also visited Clemson on March 8th, and he has also set an official visit to UCLA for June 13th. This spring, he also visited UCLA, Stanford, and North Carolina. He also likes Arizona State. Notre Dame was in on Wednesday to see Clemson target safety Joey O'Brien. Clemson target 2027 linebacker Max Brown was offered by Miami. Jacksonville State transfer offensive tackle Will Osteen, who had considered taking a visit to South Carolina, signed with North Carolina. 2027 safety Joshua Dobson of Catawba Ridge was offered by West Virginia. In basketball, Utah transfer 6-foot Gianna Neepkins, who reportedly visited South Carolina, committed to UCLA. There you go with the recruiting report for tonight here on Sports Talk. It is brought to you by Seawells. And don't forget, check out our recruiting information on our website, SportsTalkSC.com, and on our X account, which is SC Sports Now, SC Sports Now. Make sure you're following us on X. And to make it simple for you, you know, they've kind of phased out the old hashtag thing on X. So to make the search easy, we still use ST Recruiting with all our recruiting posts. So you can just do an ST Recruiting search. And that'll take you to our posts and our stories on X. All right, after the break, USC baseball coach Paul Mainieri, who met with the media today as he does going into the weekend SEC series. Florida Gators are coming to Columbia for 3 beginning on Friday. A lot of things going on, a lot of issues with the Gamecock baseball team, as you well know. He addresses all of that in just a moment here on Sports Talk.
Traveling can be the worst, especially when you can't find your favorite show. Well, don't worry. We've got the perfect way to keep up with everything happening in the Palmetto State when you're away from home. Just pull up the Chief Sports app on your mobile device, and you can listen live to Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network.
So the next time you can't find us on one of our great radio affiliates, just log on to the Chief Sports app, the best way to stay connected with the Sports Talk Media Network.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. That's the sound of a big hit on you and your car or truck. I've been an attorney for more than 30 years, helping people who get injured in car wrecks and truck wrecks. If you have serious injuries, call Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968, or email me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. That's CORBETT. I don't get paid unless I recover for you. Jim Corbett Attorney, for your best recovery from a big hit. 803-765-2968 or jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
The lottery is not about getting rich. It's about helping people, and it always has been. The lottery is what helped raise the Great Wall of China, build the roads of Rome, and today in South Carolina, it's what generates millions of dollars each year for scholarships like the SC Hope, Life, and Palmetto Fellows. The South Carolina Education Lottery is investing in you. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou to learn more.
All right, today over at Ray Tanner Field, Founders Park in Columbia, Paul Maneri got with some members of the media down on the field as the team was practicing to talk about his team. Got Florida coming to town. The Gamecocks, of course, every win for them right now is precious as they try to improve their positioning, if they can, for the SEC tournament and hold out a very, very long outside hope of making the NCAA tournament. They got to win a lot of games, though, the rest of the way down the field. Probably can't afford really to lose any more games at this point. They could finish up with a strong run here in the regular season, maybe win 2 or 3 games in the SEC tournament, but that's probably too much to ask for this particular team. So here's Paul Maneri as he talked with the media, beginning with an update on the injured players.
Ethan is out for the weekend, obviously, and I still don't even know about Nathan. His heel did not respond well the first couple days of this week, and I haven't seen him yet today. Talked to him on the phone, but he literally was just getting out of bed, so he doesn't really know how it feels. So I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that he'll be ready to go for tomorrow.
Sorry.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. Yeah, so the bottom line is you play with the guys that are available, and we've had – I never like to talk about injuries and make excuses or anything like that, but we've had some pretty important injuries to us this year that who knows how much of a difference it'd make if Eli Jersenbeck had stayed healthy and Talmadge had stayed healthy and Narwaki was at full strength, and you just never know, but it is what it is. You play with the guys that are available to you and you do the very best that you can, but I just wish I had better news on Petrie and wish I knew for sure that I could tell you Hall was going to play.
Any improvement with Petrie?
Oh, he's getting treatment every day. It's one of those injuries that they say 2 to 4 weeks. I've had believe it or not, several experiences with that kind of an injury with players, and that's really what it takes, 2 to 4 weeks. So some players come back a little bit quicker. Some takes the full 4 weeks. So it was really unfortunate. Did you see the injury with the play that had happened? It was kind of an awkward play. He had slowed up and the ball took like a funny bounce and he was going to miss it. So he kind of accelerated to try to reach at the ball and whacked his left shoulder right into the wall. I didn't even know he was hurt because it's kind of a blind spot. Like if it would be in that right field corner and you're in the dugout here, you didn't really see what happened. And, we're looking at, the play, the ball coming in and everything. Did something happen down in the corner? I mean, it was like a bloop double. He didn't try to make the catch on it, or you know what I mean? It was so it was really unfortunate. I just feel so bad for the kid, more than anything. He's a wonderful young man and he loves his school and I would just wish he could have finished it up. We're playing his home state team this weekend that he's always seems to have played well against, and just doesn't always go according to plan, Poor kid, I just feel bad for him, but he'll survive it, and he's going to have a great career in pro ball. I don't have any doubt about that, so just feel bad for him.
When
you lose not just his power, but just his ability to in terms of just getting a key base hit. I mean, everybody thinks of the home runs and everything, but it seems like he's always clutch. How do you replace that?
You do the best you can with the next guys, and there's a reason why he's Ethan Petrie. He's better than most. He's one of the top players in the country, and you can't just go say, okay, well, we'll just grab this guy and fill the hole. It'd be like if Sellers went down, and would your team take a little bit of a hit on that? Of course you would. It's just the way it works. But that's why it's important to have depth and have all those pieces. And we'll get there. It's just going to take a little time.
You're in your last 10 now of the regular season. Is there anything specific you're hoping to see just in this final home stretch?
Oh, I just want to see us. I've said this many times. No matter, what day we have if we have a tough loss or whatever, we're just never going to give up. And our players know that. You're going to see. Look, they're still hustling up to the cage. They're still disciplined, doing everything right. Nobody's hanging them up. We're going to play this season right out to the very end, and. I think you owe it to your university, you owe it to your state, you owe it to the fans that come to the game, that care about the program. Nobody's happy with, the final results of what we've got. I shouldn't say final results. Nobody's happy with, where we stand in the SEC standings and all those kinds of things. But you still have to get up every morning and have pride in what you do and go out there and do the very best you can. We'll analyze it all after the season's over, where were our areas that need upgrading, and what do we do going forward. When you take over a program, there's limited stuff that you can do to make the program better. I went through this at LSU. I went through it everywhere. The Air Force Academy. I went through it at St. Thomas. It's a hard process to go through, but it also makes it that much more rewarding when you get it the way you want it to be. But people aren't that patient. They want to see now. And I feel bad that we haven't delivered in the way that most people would want it to be delivered. And like I said, we'll analyze it later where we need to improve, and we're working. Obviously, you can see the young man over there around the batting cage. He had hit a lot of home runs before he got hit by a pitch the other day and broke his hand. So. So we're gonna keep working at it, but we got 10 games left, and I'm excited about those 10 games. We got a good Florida Gator team coming in. They're always so talented. We go to Auburn, who's having a great year. We've got another midweek game, and then we finish with a school that I know a little bit about. Not all that excited about that weekend, I got to be honest with you, but hey, we're gonna play hard right to the very end, and you modify your goals. You like to finish above 500. You like to get to 30 wins. Small accomplishments. But they use them as motivation right now for the players to try to keep them going.
This Florida team, they had a really bad start, but they seem to have found themselves now. What are you seeing about those guys on tape?
Yeah, they're a typical Florida team. They hit a lot of home runs. They got good athletes. They got good arms on the mound. It's kind of befuddles me why, they struggled like they did, to be honest with you, because it's certainly not a lack of talent. And, I think their pitching numbers aren't good, but they've been pitching a lot better. And, I think they found a closer in Clemente. Their number one guy, Peterson's he's one of the top pitchers in the league. Aiden King has given them a real lift. I think he went there as a non-scholarship player, a walk-on, and he's developed into a nice starting pitcher for him. So, yeah, listen, I've coached against Florida for a lot of years, and it's never easy, and it never will be easy. They get the pick of the litter and maybe the most fertile baseball state in the country, so they ought to be really good every year. And Kevin, he's had some years where they haven't started great, and yet they finish strong, which I admire about him. So it'll be good to see Kevin. I haven't talked to him in a few years, so.
I was going to ask you, what was your relationship like with him, or rivalry like with him back in the day?
I think a lot like mine and Ray's, mutual respect. I mean, we had some hard-nosed games against them. Sometimes there was probably a little bit more chirpiness than there was between LSU and South Carolina. But, we had great games. I mean, they won their share, we won our share, and unfortunately they got us in the finals in 2017. That wasn't very much fun,
All right, Paul Maneri, USC baseball coach. I know it's hard to be patient if you're a Gamecock baseball fan because you're used to winning, and it's been a long time since the Gamecocks were in Omaha. And it's really been a long time since the Gamecocks were, well, I shouldn't say a long time because they had a couple of chances in super regionals to get to Omaha, just didn't finish the job. So, but that's the goal, of course, to win super regionals, to host, to get back to regularly hosting. One thing about Clemson, through all the years, Monty Lee and now Eric Bakich, at least they're hosting regionals every year, and then a super regional last year. No excuse for Clemson, It's Omaha or bust for them. South Carolina's just going to have to suck it up this year and reorganize for next year. He was late, Maneri was, to meeting with us because, and he apologized, he said he had a big-time recruit in his office. He said a home run hitter, a power hitter, that he had to spend some extra time with. So don't know who that was or anything like that, but we'll see if a name pops up. Speaking of that, one more recruiting note I'm just coming across. For the College of Charleston, the Cougars have landed 7-foot Chol Machat, or Machot, of Florida Southwest State Junior College. He's a native of Australia. He averaged 12 points and 7 rebounds per game last season, originally committed with Mississippi State. So he's headed to the College of Charleston as they add another member to their recruiting class. North Carolina basketball player Zayden High, who was suspended last semester after the university found him responsible for sexual exploitation. According to this story by Corey Dean, who is a reporter for the News and Observer, High, despite the sanctions barring him from athletics, he kept access to facilities and has been around the team at least once, she writes here. So I'm thinking that the issue here is the fact that he had been suspended, yet he had access to facilities and was around the team. The field for the Charleston Classic, they're going to have 2 different brackets this year. And Clemson, of course, is in it with Georgia. This particular bracket will have Clemson, Georgia, West Virginia, and Xavier. That's pretty sweet. Now, that's this particular Thanksgiving tournament has really grown in Charleston and is really good. November 21 and 23. That's going to be the field at TD Arena. Clemson, Georgia, West Virginia, and Xavier for that particular bracket. And again, want to mention didn't get through all of them last night. NCAA men's golf tournament, the regionals. So South Carolina, the number 4 seed. Coastal Carolina, the number 12 seed out in Bremerton, Washington. College of Charleston, number 10 seed at Auburn. Upstate, the number 13 seed at Auburn. Furman, the number 11 seed at Tallahassee. And Clemson's Andrew Swanson is in the field as an individual in Amherst, Virginia. We'll talk about all that tomorrow night on Birdies, Bogeys, and Biceps. That'll do it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Plummer, and thank you, Jesse the Body. And we'll see you tomorrow night.